Yo, what's up, everyone? This is James and English Reading 100 Days Challenge. Today is day 56, and the irony then is this. The irony then is this. Elite students are told that they can be whatever they want, but most of them end up choosing to be one of a few very similar things. Whole fields have disappeared from view. The clerk the what? Cur, the clergy the clergy the clerk clergy the clergy the clergy the clergy the clergy the military the clergy the military the clergy the clergy the military editorial politics teaching and academia itself for the most part including basic science. It is true that today's young people appear to be more socially engaged as a whole than kids have been for several decades, more concerned about the state of the world and more interested in trying to do something about it. It is true as well they're more apt to harbor creative or entrepreneur impulses to harbor to apt to harbor to apt to harbor to harbor creative or entrepreneur impulses. But it is also true, at least at the most selective schools, that even if those aspirations make it out of college, a very big if, they tend to be played out within the same narrow conception of what constitutes a valid life: affluence, credentials, and prestige. What I saw at Yale, I have continued to see at campuses around the country. Everybody looks extremely normal, and everybody looks the same. No hippies, no punks, no art school types or hipsters, no bunch lesbians or gender queers, no black kids in dashikis, dashkis. What is dashkis? Dashkis. The geeks don't look at the geeks. The geeks don't look that geeky. The geeks don't look that geeky. The geeks don't look that geeky. The fashionable kids go in for understated elegance. The fashionable kids go in for understated elegance. Everyone dresses as if they are ready to be interviewed at a moment of notice. You are young. I want to say to them, take a chance with yourself. Never mind diversity. What we are getting is 32 flavors of vanilla. I'm not lamenting by I'm not lamenting a bygone era of student rebellion. College used to be understood as a time of experiment with different selves, or whatever type, or whatever type. Now students all seem to be converging on the same self, the successful upper middle class professional, impersonating the adult they have already decided they want to become. However much diversity Yale's freshman classes may have, a former student wrote, its senior classes have far less. Everybody does the same thing became everybody's doing the same thing. Because everybody does the same thing because everybody's doing the same thing. Just doing the same thing. A former student talked to me about salmon, salmon run. A University of Michigan graduate spoke of the conveyor belt, conveyor belt. The operative principle is known as triangle design. Wanting something because you see the other people want it and assume that it must be valuable. There was, wrote Michael Lewis about the salmon run of his own day, a sense of safety in numbers, a sense of safety in numbers. The key word there is safety. The key word there is safety. Beneath the other factories, the entitlement, the lack of directions, the design not to close down options, the force that drives the salmon run is fear. It is exact fear, and more than fear, the panic and the often creeping anxiety that lies behind the facade of serene achievements that elite college students learn to show the world. So extreme are their admission standards now, so ferocious the competition, that kids who manage to get into elite colleges have, by definition, never experienced anything but success. The prospect of not being successful terrifies them, disorients them, defeats them, and have been haunted them whole lives by a fear of failure. Often, in the first instance, by their parents' fear of failure. The cost of falling short, even temporarily, becomes not merely practical but existential, but not merely practical but existential. The result is violent. The result is a violent aversion to risk. You have no margin for error, so you avoid the possibility that you would ever make an error. That is one of the reasons that elite education has become so inimical to learning. As Harry R. Lewis, the former Harvard dean, has written, nobody wants to take a chance on a class that might not ace. So nobody is willing to venture beyond the things that already know and do very well. Experimenting, exploring, discovering new ways to look at the world, as well as new capabilities within yourself. The things a college education is supposed to be about fell by the wayside. Nobody wants to let any of the dozen balls they are junking drop. Nobody wants to lag behind in the credential race. When a student at Pomona told me that she'd love to have a chance to think about the things she studied, only she doesn't have the time, I asked her if she had ever considered not trying to get an A in every class. She looked at me and if I had made indecent suggestions. And that's it for today. See you next time.